How's it going, everybody, and welcome to Just Know These Podcast. I'm your host, Ryan.
And I'm your host, Daniel.
And today we're doing a podcast.
Woo!
If you're new to the channel, please smash the subscribe button and also hit the like button and comment what you guys want us to talk about next week. Or also, comment if you agree with our takes today.
Yeah.
Let's get to the podcast.
Okay, today we are talking about the top 5 most believable Disney theories, but also some Doomsday news, possibly some Supergirl news, too.
And The Last of Us.
And The Last of Us. Okay, so the first theory of today, the Lilo and Stitch theory on why Lilo feeds Pudge the fish a sandwich.
This one makes a lot of sense. I also have another theory about Pudge's Fish.
Interesting, because I think I know what you're talking about.
Oh, okay.
And I might be saying that.
Oh.
Okay, so if you guys don't know this theory, we all see Lilo at the beginning of Lilo and Stitch that she's late for hula class, but she also is in the ocean, and we see like a fish with a sandwich in its mouth. And then we see Lilo rush to hula class. She gets the stage all wet. Everyone slips. She gets in a fight with Myrtle. I hate Myrtle. I'm sorry.
Myrtle.
She's probably the biggest bully.
Yeah,
and
she
she's
can
so
go home.
annoying, too.
Go home, Myrtle.
Yeah. Okay, but then when Lilo's asked why she's late, she says, I have to feed Pudge the fish a sandwich. And every Thursday, I feed him a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, but I didn't have peanut butter and jelly, so I gave him tuna. Yeah. Which is like kind of crazy. Like, it's cannibalism at that point. But then right when she says that, she also says, I have to give him a sandwich because he controls the weather.
Right.
And right when she says this, you could see all the adults in the room, including her teacher, get super shocked. And this, when I was younger, this flew right over my head.
Same.
Because when you think about it, the reason why they get shocked is actually later on in the movie. And it's when Lilo's talking to Stitch and she tells him that her parents died in a rainstorm in a car crash. Now, when you put those two together now, she feeds a fish because she thinks he controls the weather. Her parents died in a rainstorm in a car crash. So she literally feeds Pudge the fish a sandwich every Thursday to make sure that nobody else dies like her parents did in a rainstorm car crash. So that's like a crazy... I think it makes the movie better.
Yeah.
But I think it flies over a lot of people's heads.
It does fly over a lot of people's heads, including mine growing up. But also, I feel like it was such a clever way of like showing how a young girl deals with the death of her parents. Right. Like the way that a young child copes with it.
Yeah.
And what she thinks she's doing to help.
Right.
I think some people get caught up in like, oh, this bad happened to me. I don't care about anybody else, so I'm just gonna let it happen. But the fact that she wants to try to, in her mind, prevent people from dying.
Right.
So she's trying to not have anybody else experience what her parents felt.
Yeah. There's a side theory. Now, I don't think this is the most believable. I'm just throwing this in there as kind of like a bonus, okay? There's a theory that Pudge the fish is actually Maui.
That's what I was going to say earlier.
Okay. So there's a theory that it's Maui because we all know Maui could shapeshift. Maui from Moana.
Yeah.
Now, it would be kind of messed up if he's like kind of taking advantage of this girl for sandwiches. You know what I mean? Because also we know that Maui, he can control wind and like ocean, but he can't control rain.
Yeah.
So it can't be him.
Like he couldn't be making any difference for her.
Yeah. So if he's not making a difference, he's just literally getting free sandwiches every Thursday from her.
But that sounds like a Maui thing to do.
Right. It does.
Like it's like a funny like, oh, like no harm.
There's no harm, but it's kind of messed up. Yeah, but let us know what you guys think. I don't know if it's Maui. It could be Maui. That would be like a cool way to like connect things. But I really do think that it really shows Lilo's like attachment to this situation and how she's coping with it.
Yeah.
And the theory makes a lot of sense to me.
It does to me too. I mean, I think it's a great Disney theory that could be easily written into the movies.
How do you think this like upcoming live action will live up to the animated? Because we all know how historic the animated is. I mean,
know.
It changed the world.
It's very tough. I want to say that I'm very hopeful that Lilo and Stitch is such a great story and they just can follow it.
Right.
Follow the original story and kind of just stick to that. I think it'll do great.
Yeah. Because, I mean, we even got to see some Pleakley in the trailer. Pleakley looks great. I think they did a good job with how like the look of the aliens are.
Yeah, definitely. When I imagine what live action Lilo and Stitch looks like, it looks like the way they did it. And I feel like I'm very happy with the design of the aliens. The set designs. Lilo is so believable that she's Lilo. Yeah, I'm really excited for what they do. I just hope that, you don't need to like reinvent the wheel here. Just do what you already did.
Right. Follow the story.
It's like, what do you call it? Like when they remaster a video game.
Yeah.
Just remaster the animated version and make it into like a human form.
That's a good point. Okay, the next theory is actually an Inside Out theory that Bing Bong is still alive. Okay, now this theory I think makes a lot of sense. We also talked to the director of Inside Out too.
Yeah, director and producer.
They didn't really confirm or deny it. They definitely didn't deny it.
They did not deny it.
Okay, so if you guys don't know this theory, there's a theory that Bing Bong is actually a monster from Monsters, Inc. And I feel like the evidence to this theory holds a lot of water. So we all know like Pixar movies are all connected, right?
Right.
We even see an Inside Out. One, we see a magazine with Colette from Ratatouille on it. We see Carl and Ellie's house in the memory orbs. We also see the Pizza Planet truck in the memory orbs, which we all know is in every Pixar film.
Right.
But we all know Riley's imaginary friend Bing Bong and that he like sacrifices himself for joy and then he gets forgotten by Riley.
Yes.
Now, there's a theory that he's actually a monster from Monsters, Inc. because in Monsters, Inc., we all know they use screams to power Monstropolis. But after that, later in the movie, at the end, we see Mike Wazowski using laughs. And he becomes one of like the top scarers by making kids laugh. So we can see that instead of screams, they actually move over to laughs because it's like a cleaner version of energy. Now, if we take that into consideration and we look at what Bing Bong looks like, he's like an elephant monster looking thing, right? So, and he's just like a clown, right? So there's a theory that he's actually a monster that would visit Riley when she was younger to make her laugh to get energy from Monstropolis. And that's why she's technically considering him his imaginary friend, because she's imagining playing with him during the times where he's not there. And as she grows up, right, they're not going to definitely like visit her when she's older.
Right.
So it makes sense that she will eventually forget about him. But that doesn't mean Bing Bong is dead. It just means that Riley forgot him.
Right.
But yeah, let you know what you guys think of that theory. I think it's a good theory. It definitely has a lot of evidence that makes sense because Bing Bong looks exactly like a monster. The monster started using laughs as energy. It makes sense for why Riley would have a monster too.
It would make sense, especially in the Pixar universe, all the kids having their monsters.
Yeah.
Andy had a monster.
Right. And when you think about it, when Riley's like playing with Bing Bong and Inside Out and it's like imaginary friend like Bing Bong.
Yeah.
She's like around the age where she could have a monster.
100%.
Yeah.
And like you said, the age that Riley's in and then the timeline of Pixar movies, that's when the monsters have transitioned into laughs.
Right.
So it makes sense that at her age, there's going to be no monsters trying to scare her anymore. It's going to be making her laugh.
Yeah. Do you think they should make a live action Inside Out? Now, see, that's one movie I feel like it'd be kind of like weird because of the emotions.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough because I would love to see a live action. Like, Pixar's never really dabbled in live action, right? It's always just been animated. I don't think Pixar's ever done live action, have they?
No.
The first movie that I would love to see come to live action is either, obviously, The Incredibles is my first choice.
Yeah.
That, I feel like, is the most attainable and one that's like I could digest. And someone said like, hey, Incredibles live action, I'm like, I'm all for that.
Right.
When you bring up Inside Out 2 or Inside Out, I have to think about it. I'm like, wait, how would that look? But if you were to ask me which one I would want Incredibles.
For sure. Now, how far, we all know like the animated is great for Inside Out.
Yeah.
But how far do you think in Riley's life they're going to go with the Riley like storyline?
I think
because we saw nostalgia, right?
Yeah.
In Inside Out too.
I think there's going to either be end of high school, college, end of high school, college, beginning of college, like kind of like that transition from high school to college.
Okay.
Figuring out what college she wants to go to, prom.
Yeah.
That whole thing. I think there's a lot of good relatable challenges there.
Yeah.
And then maybe after college, it's like work. Like she just got her first job.
Oh.
So I think it goes end of high school, beginning of college, that transition of trying to figure out college apps and all that.
Yeah.
And then it goes to her trying her first job and kind of like reminiscing on.
That's where nostalgia comes in.
And then maybe motherhood.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I think that would be the way to go.
Right. Because then they could just keep Inside Out going forever, right? Technically, she has a kid. You just move on to the kid's story.
Right.
But you also have Riley attached to it, like throughout the life of the kid.
I think that's the plan, to be honest with you. I think she's going to have, like, she'll have a son.
Yeah.
And it just keeps on going.
Yeah. Okay, the next theory is that Incredibles theory. Now, it's an Incredibles theory that Frozone was actually supposed to die in the first movie.
I believe this one.
Yeah. So,
100%.
If you guys don't know this theory, we all know in The Incredibles, there's Omnidroids. Now, Syndrome creates these Omnidroids to literally kill superheroes. And he creates them to literally learn every strength and weakness of every single hero to kill them in the easiest way possible. Now, we also see that he has Mirage go out and kind of spy on these heroes to see like what their daily life is and possibly find out more strengths and weaknesses. And we see when Mirage is spying on Mr. Incredible and Frozone, she's actually only spying on Frozone because she says he's still with the fat one, as if he is Frozone.
Right. And it's kind of like the fat one.
Yeah.
It's kind of irrelevant to her.
Right.
the main focus is him.
Yeah. So when you put that into perspective, and then you see Mr. Incredible get recruited, and then he goes to the island in place of Frozone, because we don't see Frozone go to the island. We just see Mr. Incredible go to the island. He goes to the island and fights the first Omnidroid. Now, this Omnidroid has a blue eye, okay? And it's already kind of starting to lose to Mr. Incredible right off the rip.
Right.
Now, it gets so desperate. It lures Mr. Incredible to the volcano. Now, what is the volcano? It's a super hot place where Frozone wouldn't be able to have powers.
Just like we saw it when he's in the bank.
Yeah, in the
it's
burning
hot,
building.
And he can't
use his powers in hot places.
Right.
And he needs the water.
Right.
Now, why else would an Omnidroid lure a superhero to a hot place where they can't use their powers? It's because it was meant for Frozone, especially if Omnidroids always learn the superhero strengths and weaknesses.
Yeah. I mean, especially if you go back to what you said about Mirage.
Yeah.
If she wasn't focusing on Frozone, it would have been like, and she was focusing on Mr. Incredible, it'd be like, he's still with the skinny one.
Exactly. It wouldn't be he's with the fat one.
Right.
And then we see like Mr. Incredible literally beats this Omnidroid like it was nothing. And we're like, isn't this supposed to be like a super hard enemy to beat? But he beats it super easy. Now, when Mr. Incredible goes back to the island for the second time, we see another Omnidroid. And this Omnidroid beats the heck out of Mr. Incredible. I mean, it literally is going to kill him before Syndrome stops it.
Right.
Now, when you look at this Omnidroid, it's obviously a lot stronger, but it also has a red eye. And what color is Mr. Incredible's suit? It's red.
Right.
The first Omnidroid, what color is Frozone's suit? Blue. The eye was blue.
Right.
Right, so it makes sense that the first Omnidroid was actually meant for Frozone, and Mr. Incredible indirectly saved his best friend's life.
And I'll say this too, because people will probably say it. Mr. Incredible's suit at the time was blue.
It was blue.
But I think we have to go back to the Mirage thing.
Yeah.
The Mirage thing, that it was the main focus was Frozone. The Omnidroid was prepared for Frozone.
Right.
So it'd make logical sense that, hey, let's pinpoint that the blue from the Omnidroid was meant for Frozone, because it makes sense because that Omnidroid was trying to kill a Frozone.
Exactly. And even at the end of the movie, we see another Omnidroid that also has a red eye, and it's fighting the entire Incredibles family.
Right.
All their suits are red.
Exactly.
So there's definitely Omnidroids that were meant for certain people, but the first one was definitely meant for Frozone.
Yes.
And the theory is that Mr. Incredible saved Frozone's life.
I believe that one 100%. And I think what really sells it is the volcano aspect and Mirage.
Yeah.
But Mirage was spying on Frozone, not Mr. Incredible. If Mr. Incredible was the main target, I mean, come on. Syndrome is one of the smartest people in that universe.
Exactly.
You think he's going to make an Omnidroid that can't fight Mr. Incredible?
Yeah.
He obviously knows how.
Yeah.
It's not like he's like surprised by his powers. It's like, no, I know Mr. Incredible's powers, but this wasn't meant for him.
Yeah, and I think we have to look at the lava part too, the volcano.
Yeah.
Why would a Omnidroid lure Mr. Incredible to a volcano? That does him he has no weakness there.
Right.
Frozone's the one who has a weakness there. And Frozone definitely wouldn't have won that fight in a volcano.
Right.
But Mr. Incredible did.
Yeah, because immediately once Frozone is in the volcano, it won't work. His powers won't work at all. So he would just be screwed.
Yeah. Now, going back to a live-action Incredibles, if they did a live-action Incredibles, do you think they should go where, like, the first movie took place, where the kids are very young? Or do you think we should get more Incredibles movies, like the animated, to see the kids grow up, and then do a live-action of the grown-up version of the kids?
I mean, if I'm thinking like how Disney and Pixar, I think it's thinking.
Okay.
You start from the very beginning.
Yeah.
You start from Incredibles 1 because why not? You have the kids, you can have them grow up. You have Incredibles 2, 3, 4, however many they're going to do.
Right.
But see, what's good about, I think what they're doing is there's big gaps in the Pixar versions, right? The animated versions.
Right.
So say they get to 4 or 5,
Uh-huh.
or maybe it's only 3. But then you can cast the kid, right, for Incredibles 1 and release them faster.
Mm.
You know what I mean? More
Yeah.
timely, that kind of aligns with the growth of a child, you know, turning
Right.
into adulthood.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I see them doing that where it's like you cast a family,
Uh-huh.
right? Kids and a baby, and then you have Incredibles 2. Well, to be fair, Incredibles 2, they don't really age much.
No.
So that's where it'll be interesting.
Yeah. The reason why I brought up, like, do you think they'll go later on and let the kids grow up a little bit, then do a live action, is because, like, you can start to use, like, more well-known actors in the space, as opposed to, like, a kid, might be the kid's first job. You know what I mean? So in that case, like, you could, obviously people are going to watch in a live action Incredibles no matter what. But if you let them grow up a little bit, then you could start to use, like, different actors.
That is a very, like, unique approach that you're presenting. I just think, like, if you're Disney and you want to capitalize on your IP,
Yeah.
you probably should start from Incredibles 1 and
Right.
double
Start
dip,
from the beginning.
right? Get that money again.
Yeah. That is true.
Just how, like, Lilo and Stitch, right? I guess they could do, like, a Lilo and Stitch live action where Lilo's technically older.
Yeah.
And, like, tell a new story.
Right.
but you're gonna get like a brand new kid,
Yeah.
brand new actress,
Uh-huh.
and have her be Lilo
Exactly. You're right.
and create the next Disney star.
Yeah. Besides Incredibles, though, which live action would you want to see from Pixar if they do it?
I really think live action Monsters Inc.
Oh.
is doable because I think this is my whole thing,
Okay.
right? You need to have a human
Yeah.
to make live action really pop.
Okay. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right. But Monsters Inc. Would you have like crazy? I guess they could add more to Boo's story.
No, I would 100% add more to Boo's story.
Okay.
And I think Boo and a live action Sully would be very cool.
Yeah.
Like I think like there's a story there that visually would be really interesting.
Uh-huh.
I think like the textures and the way they design the monsters,
Mm.
live action with technology we have today would be really unique.
Yeah.
You know, like and be like so captivating to want to see these monsters on the big screen.
Mm.
I mean, I think that would be great. I also think Coco would be a great live action.
Oh yeah. You know, I really wonder how a live action Up would be.
Oh.
I really wonder. I feel like it could be pulled off pretty great.
My only rebuttal to Up
Up. Okay.
is that it's already kind of such an unbelievable idea
Yeah.
that it might pull people out of it seeing a house float with balloons, live action.
Yeah.
But maybe I'm way off, right? There's a chance that I'm way off.
Uh-huh.
But if you're asking me like, hey, Pixar came to us today and said, look, Omotos, you got to pick 2 of our properties
Yeah.
to make live action movies.
Yeah.
I'm not going Up.
Right.
I'm going Incredibles and Monsters Inc.
Yeah. I think it's just like something to be curious about.
Oh, yeah.
Because I feel like some part of me feels like it could work really well. Some part of me, maybe not.
I could get a lot of hate for this, but I feel like the guy from Succession, is it Brian Cox? I think he would make a good
Carl. Oh, okay. Okay, the next theory is a Cars theory. And it's a Cars theory confirming that cars were once made and driven
Oh, can I back
by
up?
humans. Yeah.
Cars live action.
Oh.
And I would do it different.
Okay.
I would do it like a live action Cars, but I would have Lightning McQueen
Yeah.
be a person. He's a race car driver.
Oh.
And he drives a red car.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
And they try to do like a really good like adult car racing movie.
Wow. I feel like you're walking on thin ice with that one.
Right? I mean, that would be very crazy.
It would be crazy. Now,
It would be so crazy that people are going to be like, I want to go watch how they do this.
yeah. It is one of those ideas. Because I'm like trying to like think about Doc, like Sally Mater. Like I'm like thinking about like how are they going to do these characters? No, I know. It's exactly what you're saying. Like they would just make it like a person that has like that lifestyle in a way.
In the personality.
Yeah. I don't know.
I'm going to get a lot of hate.
Let us know what you guys think of that one. Okay, but the next theory is a Cars theory that all the cars in the Cars universe were once made and driven by humans. Now, when you guys really look at the evidence for this, it's pretty crazy and it's a little bit disturbing. Okay? So we see in one of the Cars movies, I think it's Cars 2, Mater is like in Paris and he's going through like a bunch of street vendors. Now he stops at a street vendor and it's like this car named Seline. Now, right when Seline kind of approaches Mater, we see Mater get super scared and just drive off. But this is the reason why, okay? When Seline, we first see Seline, her eyes are actually her headlights and her eyes aren't her windshield. Now, every car in the car universe, their eyes are the windshield of the car. Seline, it's her headlights and her windshield is see-through. So, if you look inside of like the car of Seline, she has a steering wheel and a rear view mirror. Why would she need that if she wasn't once driven by humans or made by humans?
Right.
So it just proves the theory that all the cars in the Cars universe once took over all the humans. Because humans once existed on their universe.
Who made them?
Exactly. Why does she have a steering wheel and a rear view mirror? She doesn't need that unless a human was driving it.
Right.
So it just confirms the theory. One character literally confirmed the entire theory that cars were once driven and made by humans.
I mean, we've all seen the picture, right, where you see like the brain inside the hood and
Right. So then it makes you question like, how is this even possible? But it's because all the cars were made by humans. I don't know. Let me know what you think. It makes a lot of sense. Just go look up we'll put it on the screen, but go look up Seline. It's there.
it's there. I just imagine like Owen Wilson like inside the car. Yeah.
Do you think they should make a new Cars story, or do you think they should just let Cars be done and it's all over?
No, I think they should keep going.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Do you think they should restart the Cars universe, or do you think they let it go? Because I don't know where they would go next, right? Because they went Cars and they went Planes. And I think they need to go back to like Lightning McQueen and Mater doing something together.
Yeah. Oh, it's tough.
I don't know. Let us know what you guys think. Should Cars keep going? Should Cars just kind of like ride into the sunset? I don't know. But where do you rank Cars on Pixar tier list? Like Cars 1. I won't say like the entire Cars IP, but just Cars 1.
Let me just go off like my top 2 right now. It's Toy Story, Incredibles, Monsters Inc., Coco, and Cars, I guess. So is that top 4? It's in the top 4.
Top 4. Okay. That's pretty good.
Yeah. Where does it fall for you if you were to pick your top 5 favorite Pixar films?
I'd put it top 5.
What is your top 5 favorite Pixar films?
Incredibles, 1. Up, Coco, Inside Out.
Okay.
Is this list not good? You're like looking at me like I'm crazy.
I'm looking at you because you said Cars is in your top 5 and you haven't named Cars yet.
Cars.
Okay. Were you about to name Cars?
Well, it's in my top 5, right?
Well, yeah. Were you about to, though, if I didn't say anything?
Oh, maybe not. I was thinking.
Yeah, bro was
thinking
about
too
to
hard.
go. Yeah. I was like, wait, when is he going to say Cars? This guy says it's in my top
Yeah, I don't
5.
think it's like, definitely not top 3. Definitely not top 4 like you. I think it's either 5 or 6 for me. Okay, the next theory is the Ratatouille theory that Chef Gusteau was actually a fraud. And he actually used a rat too.
This is actually a really good one. I believe this one with my heart.
Yeah.
I fully believe this one.
Guys, this theory is absolutely crazy. I think this is probably one of the craziest. So we all know in Ratatouille, Chef Skinner has some sort of implication that Linguini could be Chef Gusteau's son. Now, remember, Chef Gusteau is supposed to be like the best chef in the world.
Right.
Right? So when Skinner finds this out, he's like, I need to make sure that Linguini is or not his son.
Right.
So what he does is he goes to Chef Gusteau's hat and he takes a piece of hair out and he gets it tested. Now, when they come back with the results, for some reason, the hair in the hat came back as rat hair. Why would there be rat hair in Chef Gusteau's hat? Now, this is where it gets crazier, okay?
Yeah.
Remy, when he sneaks into the house with that old lady and he's like watching the TV with Chef Gusteau, we see all these different magazines that Chef Gusteau is on, right? And we see on one of the magazines, he's like lifting his hat up. But when he's lifting his hat up, you could see that there's something sitting on his head. And it looks exactly like Remy's sitting on Linguini's head. So you can tell that there's a rat on there.
Yeah.
Right? Now think about this. He's one of the best cooks in the world, okay? Why is his saying anyone can cook, okay? It's because he has a rat cooking for him. That's why his saying is anyone can cook.
Right.
This is where it takes the theory even further, okay? We never see Remy's mom in Ratatouille, okay? Chef Gusteau, we see him go on like this downcline, right? Downward trend. We see him start selling frozen foods and then he passes away.
Yeah.
Right? Now the theory is that Remy's mom was actually Chef Gusteau's rat.
That helped him cook.
That helped him cook. And when she died, he had to start selling frozen foods because he couldn't cook anymore. And then he died from a broken heart. Now, this makes a lot of sense too, because where does Remy get his chef skills from? We see his dad is so against it, right? Emile is so against it. So
His mom. Chef
Gusteau also used the rat. Now, this is something that flew over my head completely when I was younger, because why would the hair in his hat come back as rat hair?
Right. And Remy was never in his Chef Gusteau's hat.
No. So he had a rat.
He had a rat.
And it could be Remy's mom.
And if you really want to piece it together, right? If Linguini is Chef Gusteau's son,
Yeah.
maybe they both have the same connection with rats.
Yeah.
Right? The ability to control them. Right?
Oh, because maybe not everybody has that.
Right.
Oh, interesting. Oh, that brought it a little further.
Yeah.
Dang, that was good. But yeah, let us know what you guys think. I think that is probably the most believable theory because it has so much evidence behind it that lines up with that.
I mean, why else? Okay, let's just back up a little bit, okay?
Okay.
If someone tries to make the point like, well, Remy's hair is floating around,
Yeah.
right? Well, why isn't anybody's hair floating around then?
But also, Chef Gusteau's hat is in a glass case.
You're right. Glass case doesn't make any sense.
Why would a rat hairs be in there?
It's got to
in a
be.
glass case.
It had to be his own rat.
Yeah.
And then him dying from a broken heart.
Yeah. Rewatch the movie and you'll see. It makes so much sense.
I know there's people out there that understand this theory, like they believe it. There's gonna be some people out there in the comments like, oh, I don't believe that one.
Yeah.
But
Rewatch the movie. It's there. Okay, moving on now to movie news. Now we got some crazy news this past week. We got our first look at possibly what Robert Downey Jr.'s Dr. Doom could look like. Now, we'll put a picture on the screen, but it's very interesting. He has long hair. There's very minimal green on him. It's just his cape, and it kind of looks like there's some sort of arc reactor. Now, is it an actual arc reactor? I don't know. Could it just be the design of the suit that they're like kind of just nodding to the arc reactor because it's Robert Downey Jr.?
Yeah.
We don't know.
I
Now,
know.
we also don't know if this image is real or fake, right? This is circulating everywhere, though. This is going around the internet. Everybody thinks that this could be real.
Right.
Now, what's also weird is that we see on Robert Downey Jr.'s birthday, he also had like kind of like a concept artish Doctor Doom look with like a shorter haircut, and then there's no mask, right? That's what's interesting about these two Doctor Dooms, too.
But okay, his hair for his birthday was black.
Yeah.
But his hair in this concept art is white, like gray, white.
Right.
Concept art for his birthday was black hair.
Yeah.
Right?
It makes it seem like there's going to be multiple Doctor Dooms.
Which is very believable.
Yeah. Do I think that the long hair one is the Doctor Doom or like the short hair one is Doctor? I don't know. But I do think that this is the route they could go. There could be multiple Doctor Dooms, right? And we're going to see the main Doctor Doom, one Doctor Doom, wipe out all the other Doctor Dooms just to like show dominance. Show how strong this Doctor Doom is.
Yeah. I mean, we already know there's multiple Doctor Dooms right now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So he could go across the multiverse. And that's why there's multiple like concept arts and images of this Doctor Doom, because there's going to be multiple Doctor Dooms and we're going to see one main one kill all the other ones.
Yeah. I feel like that's totally valid. It would make no sense that if there's no other Doctor Dooms, because we already know in the Fox universe alone, there's 2 Doctor Dooms.
Yeah. And in my opinion, I think the concept art with the long hair, I feel like it looks good, but I don't know if it fits like the Doctor Doom that, I don't know. It just, something doesn't sit right with me about it.
Well, I think what's happening is like when you think of Doctor Doom,
Yeah.
there's like a certain image in everyone's head already that's kind of unified. Like we all kind of have the same kind of imagination of what it should look like.
Mm-hmm.
And that was just not even like no one ever thought of that.
Yeah. Especially because there's no mask.
Right. But maybe it's a variant, or maybe it comes later in the film where it does make sense.
Yeah.
But as of right now, right, that's not the Doctor Doom that people were expecting.
Definitely not. But let us know what you guys think. Is this look what you guys want? Is it not what you want? What would you change about it? I personally want to see a mask, but that could just be because like I want to like know what he's gonna look like with a mask. Because if he's gonna wear a mask or not, obviously it's Robert Downey Jr. We want to see Robert Downey Jr. play Doctor Doom.
Right.
I mean, we saw how successful he was by having a mask on for Iron Man. So like, why can't he do that for Doctor Doom? Now we also got some crazy Doomsday news that also connects to Spider-Man. Now, according to Jeff Snyder, who is like an insider, he said that Spider-Man Brand New Day will be taking place the same exact time as Doomsday. Now, this is going to be the first time that Marvel has done this, where it's 2 movies happening at the literal same exact time. Now, what does that mean for Spider-Man? That he's probably not going to be in Doomsday.
Right.
So if it's happening at the same time, obviously he's going to be in this Spider-Man story.
I would say this, though, that I feel like Spider-Man 616 version of Tom Holland may not be in Doomsday, but I think there's going to be a Tom Holland variant in Doomsday still. Just putting that out there, I think.
Which makes sense.
Yeah.
Right? It kind of goes back to the theory we talked about last week about how he could be forming this, Doctor Doom could be forming this team of broken Avengers.
Yeah.
But yeah, Spider-Man 4 will probably end with him joining Doomsday, though. The 616 Spider-Man, Spider-Man 4 will probably end with him joining the cast of Doomsday. Or, this is why I thought this was insane, okay? If Sadie Sink is Jean Grey and she's in Spider-Man 4, it could be that it kind of lines up now that she could be recruiting Spider-Man at the end of Spider-Man 4.
Yeah.
Because, right, we don't know if she's going to be like a crazy big role in this movie. It could be like 5 minutes.
Right.
10 minutes.
Yeah. It very well could be. But I just think like if you're going to cast Sadie Sink, I feel like for her and her career, like she's already had the franchise. She's already like done it. She's made a lot of money in Netflix for Stranger Things. That her next role's got to be really impactful for her to want to sign on to do another, like 10 years of her life dedicated to one role. Because when you sign on to Marvel, right, if you're going to do a hero, you're going to be in for a while.
Yeah. And that's why I think it still could be the 5 to 10 minutes. Because if you're Jean Grey, dude, you have a future in Marvel.
Yeah, I was just trying to make a point that people that think that Sadie Sink's not going to be Jean Grey or just like a student, of like a friend of Peter.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay.
I think Sadie Sink is going to only sign on to Marvel for this next like X amount of years of her life.
Yeah.
If it's somebody really impactful for her to be like, I really want to take on another role where it's going to require me to be a part of a universe for a very long time.
That's a very good point. Also, what does this mean for Spider-Man? Now, if he's not going to be in Doomsday, it very well could be a more grounded story because he's so removed from that side of the story now. Because we know if Doomsday is going to be like this whole multiversal, like X-Men, Fantastic Four, Avengers, if Spider-Man's removed from that, where it kind of gives you hope that it could be like still a grounded story for him, grounded dark story, and he's kind of going through the repercussions of what happened in No Way Home.
Yeah.
So I'm very hopeful now that it's technically could not be a multiversal movie. It has the possibility of not being that multiversal movie until maybe the end.
Yeah, I agree.
For Doomsday, though, do you think it's still going to be X-Men vs. Avengers, and it's just going to be X-Men vs. Avengers minus Spider-Man? Because I feel like now X-Men vs. Avengers, right? You almost need Spider-Man to be there just because Spider-Man is such a big part of the 616 universe.
It's tough.
I think that's such like kind of like a wasted opportunity to not have Spider-Man also fight the X-Men with the Avengers.
Okay.
I could be wrong.
This is my thinking behind this whole thing.
Yeah.
And that is, so Christopher Nolan's movie, The Odyssey, right, is filming right now.
Right.
Tom Holland's in the movie.
Yeah.
Now, that is filming at the same time as Doomsday.
Mm-hmm.
Robert Downey Jr. was offered the role of Poseidon to be in Christopher Nolan's movie, The Odyssey, but he declined it because it conflicts with Doomsday shooting.
Ooh.
Tom Holland is filming The Odyssey. So if you use the logic of Robert Downey Jr., should mean that Tom Holland doesn't have the time to be in Doomsday.
Yeah.
Is there a chance that maybe he makes a cameo? Sure. But we do know this, that Tom Holland had the time for The Odyssey. Robert Downey Jr. didn't because of Doomsday. Robert Downey Jr. probably is going to have a way bigger role in Doomsday than Tom Holland would. So I really don't think Tom Holland's Spider-Man will be in Doomsday very much. You know what I mean?
That's true. Even if it is variant.
Even if it is variant, it's going to be very brief. I do think that Tom Holland's Spider-Man, 616 Spider-Man, may not be in Doomsday until the very end or just a very small part.
Yeah. That when you put it like that with the whole timing thing and Robert Downey Jr. offered the role of Poseidon, it does make a lot of sense why he's not going to be in it at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. In Doomsday, it's going to be X-Men,
Yeah.
Avengers, Fantastic Four versus Doom, okay, and Jean Grey's trying to find Spider-Man. That could be possible.
It could be possible.
Because when I think about it, if the Avengers are fighting the X-Men, are the Fantastic Four going to join the Avengers? Or are they not even going to be in the fight?
I want to say it's going to be like the Secret Wars that we know, right? It's going to be 616 universe fighting another universe, and you know all these universes fighting against each other.
Right. So it's almost going to be like a Fantastic Four is kind of on their own. Like,
well,
team.
I think Fantastic Four at the end of Fantastic Four First Steps, they're going to go to the MCU 616.
Right.
So in turn, they're going to fight alongside the 616 universe.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah.
Okay. I guess that could make sense.
I mean, to be honest with you, I really think they're going to spin the Secret Wars story, and they're just going to go like this. They're going to have, Doom's going to have his team, recruit a bunch of heroes, like you said, that are the bad versions of variants, bad variants, and the people that are good, the Fox universe, you know, whoever it may be, the Avengers, the new Fantastic Four, they're going to come together, form a team of good heroes. Doom will have his version of bad variants.
Right.
And I think that's how they kind of do their creative spin on their version of Secret Wars. It's going to get really confusing if they do the original Secret Wars.
Yeah.
That's why I think Doom's going to have his own team.
Right.
And I think Marvel, they did it well with Thanos, right? They did it well with Thanos, meaning they're able to have one villain be menacing, and you really believe that, man, this guy could take on a whole team of Avengers and be successful.
Right.
When it came to Kang the Conqueror, though, they let him loose to Ant-Man. It was very hard to believe that this guy's the new big bad that's going to replace Thanos.
Yeah.
Now, do I think they could do it with Robert Downey Jr.'s Dr. Doom, where one character could be so menacing and they really are able to pull that energy from the comics and be like, yeah, this is believable.
This is Dr. Doom.
The safest option is for Doom to be Thanos level, right?
Yeah.
Super strong. I mean, greater than Thanos, stronger than Thanos, wiping Thanos out by, like nothing.
Right.
But also having a team of heroes that are bad, I really think it just elevates the idea of like, wow, the heroes are really in trouble.
Yeah.
Right? They're going to be fighting excellent versions of themselves alongside this overpowered being who is Doom.
Yeah.
Then you're really going to feel like, wow, anything can happen. Any of these people can die because they're fighting equals of themselves.
Exactly.
Along with someone that's strong in the Thanos. So I really think that Marvel, if they wanted to really make sure that people feel that sense of like, oh man, people are going to die. Like Thanos gave us that feeling, right? I think you have a team around Doom of more bad versions of heroes.
Going back to like how there's going to be a lot of deaths in Doomsday and Secret Wars, right? What do you think these movies should be rated? We know it's most likely going to be PG-13, but should this be like one step higher or even R? Because we're going to have like obviously Wolverine. We could possibly have Deadpool, right? This is almost like the movie where they need to go all out on and just be that that movie that's like, oh, this is gonna get bloody because a lot of people are gonna die.
I would love to see an R-rated
Yeah.
Marvel movie.
Yeah.
Like, we're kind of getting a taste of it with Daredevil Born Again, right? It's TVMA.
Right.
I would love to see Thor just like take people down.
But it makes sense because he has the powers to do so.
Yeah. I mean, Marvel makes so much money off of these movies
Yeah.
that the moment they go R-rated, they're going to lose a significant amount of money, I think. But hey, look at the Joker, though, right? The Joker, didn't that make over $1 billion?
Yeah, something like that. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, right? It like surpassed. No, wait, hang on. Deadpool and Wolverine is R-rated.
Yeah.
They've already done it.
Yeah.
They've already done it. I don't know why I just blanked on the fact that they've done it already.
Yeah, and Logan.
And Logan. Even though Logan's not MCU, but
Right. But
they've done the
technically it
Daredevil.
is.
They've done Deadpool and Wolverine recently.
Yeah.
That movie made a lot of money.
Extremely amount of money. Extremely
Now,
money.
do I think they could do it? I think they could. But do I think they will? I don't think so.
No.
I would bet all my money that they go PG-13.
Oh, yeah. It makes a lot of sense why they just go PG-13. All the other Avengers movies, PG-13.
There's a lot of risk going R-rated.
There's a lot of risk, but there's also, in today's world, right? I feel like a lot of people, like even like for like maybe like a 16-year-old or like 15-year-old, they're going to go watch it anyway, right?
I mean, look at 8-year-olds we're going to watch.
Yeah. All these
Deadpool.
kids are going to go watch Deadpool and Wolverine.
I think we've talked about this before. Who agrees with this? Okay, who agrees with this? I think that superhero movies need to have their own rating system, not like other movies.
yes.
PG-13, R-rated, PG, G, like get that out, okay?
Yeah.
But when it comes to superhero movies, there needs to be like a superhero PG-13.
Oh.
Now, a superhero PG-13 should have violence like Deadpool and Wolverine.
Yeah.
But maybe there won't be any sexual stuff or like nudity or anything like that.
Yeah.
But PG-13 superhero movie like rating
Right.
should be like blood, fighting, really hardcore fighting,
Yeah.
and just some epic fight scenes that like show superheroes' abilities. When Superman punches somebody,
Yeah.
it's not like they're just gonna fly against the wall and go through the wall. No, they're gonna explode. Now that is what I think they need to do.
Yeah.
PG-13, like superhero ratings.
Yeah.
Now
I remember you said
PG-13
this.
for superhero ratings should have blood. It should have crazy action.
Yeah.
Superhero rated R though can have all the really bad stuff.
It's all out.
But I think when it comes to PG-13 superhero rating, it should include action like The Boys. And it should have,
yeah.
action like Deadpool and Wolverine.
Yeah.
And that's it.
That's a good point.
We can go without the cussing. We can go without the drugs, the nudity, but give us the action, right?
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, you're passionate about that one.
Yeah.
It's a really good point when you really think about it. Now that this like genre of superhero movies and shows is so big, right? It makes sense that possibly there could be like a separate rating system.
Yeah, I think they should.
Yeah. Another piece of news is Anthony Mackie was asked about Doomsday, and he said Doomsday will give us that old Avengers feel like the old movies used to give us. Now, what does this mean?
Why would you say that?
No, I know. But, okay, this is where I'm thinking.
Yeah.
My mind immediately goes to, okay, all the original Avengers coming back, and they're going to be, like, good versions, possibly. Like, good versions on our team. Now, do I think he meant that? Probably not.
I think he's just saying, like, guys, I know recently
It's not been that.
So I'm telling you, we're gonna bring it back,
Yeah.
right? And we're gonna form our new team.
But it does feel like when he says that, it's like they're bringing back the original cast, obviously. But they're also bringing a great villain, right?
Yeah.
That we know, like you were saying, like it's going to be like this big bad who's like could take on the Avengers no problem. He's
Yeah.
going to be able to take on the multiverse no problem. So it's going to be like this whole thing of Avengers fighting this villain that it's like you question how are they going to beat him.
Yeah.
Maybe Anthony Mackie's alluding to that and not like, or he also is alluding to like it not being that great recently. But yeah.
I do think Daredevil Born Again, they're doing a great job.
Yes, for sure. Okay, the next piece of movie news is this photo of Lobo going around the internet, okay? There's this photo of Jason Momoa's Lobo going around on the internet and he's on the set of Supergirl. A lot of people are happy, some people are unhappy. Now, when I look at this like picture of Lobo, I think they might add some like CGI to it and like add some more to it. Obviously, it's such a low quality picture. I don't know why people are getting so upset about it. It's like you can't even really see it very well. We know we're going to get Superman this year. I don't know possibly when Supergirl, I think it's next year, but I think James Gunn is not going to let Supergirl fail. We all know Superman is going to be absolutely insane. Like it's going to be DC's back, guys. It's going to be great.
Yeah.
And he's definitely not going to let the next one right after this like flop. Supergirl is going to be an amazing story. And when we see Lobo, like, you could get upset about it all you want, but I think it's going to be great. I think you got to just give it a chance. You can't just go off this one photo of a set possible leak that could be fake, right?
I mean, my whole thing is like, what do you expect Lobo to look like? That looks like Lobo.
No, I know.
So that's why I'm like, I'm happy with it.
Yeah.
It looks great. Like you're saying, like, he's not going to let Supergirl fail. He's invested so much into Superman, making sure like it's so good. Peacemaker, right? The Commandos. I just feel like there's just so much on the line for DC in terms of making like this comeback of like a great universe that these next films, these next shows really have to build a strong foundation. And they understand that it's not just one movie. It's not just like one character. It's a whole universe, right? So this initial start, all the things that they produce, everything they put out, it has to kind of build a strong foundation like the MCU did with Iron Man, right? Like there needs to be like that really good start. And that's why I don't think any of these next 10 projects or whatever it is are going to be flops. Like it's got to all do well.
Yeah. I mean, even just look how James Gunn did like Creature Commandos, an animated series, right? He absolutely crushed it. So he's not going to let it flop, especially because he knows what's on the line. James Gunn, out of everyone, he knows what's on the line. But our next piece of news is The Last of Us Season 2, Episode 1.
Episode 1.
Now, this was a great episode. We got to see where they are at now. We see Jackson, right? But I really want to talk about, we were talking about this too, like how they changed the story. Now, we see in episode 1, spoiler alert for people who haven't watched it yet, but in episode 1, we see the whole argument during the dance/celebration between Joel and Ellie, right? And after that, we know in the game, Ellie is supposed to have one last conversation with Joel because this is supposed to be the night before his death.
Right.
Now, in the episode, we see the whole argument go down basically shot for shot.
Yeah.
But then we also see that we're might going to get the conversation with Joel and Ellie at the end of the night.
When he's on the porch.
When he's on the porch. Yeah. But we don't. And then at the end of the episode, we also see that in like a pipe, there's cordyceps in Jackson, which never ever happened in the game.
Right.
Jackson has never had an outbreak. Now, that changes the story a lot.
It really does.
People could think that maybe it doesn't because it's like an outbreak in the town, but it changes the story a lot. Because it almost shows that Joel is sticking around for a longer time, you know, because they're not going to have an outbreak in Jackson where Joel is not going to help. You know what I mean? And it's just going to be Tommy and Ellie. I don't think so. And also,
that's interesting,
right? In some of like the released photos and trailers, we see Joel when it's not winter time. So that means he survived the winter because we know he got killed in the winter, right? He got killed when it was all snowing. He's out in the city where there's no more snow anymore. So he survives the winter.
And you don't think it's a flashback?
I don't think it's a flashback because it looks exactly like the setting that Ellie is in the game with Dina.
Wow.
Yeah, so it almost, you know, like how they released footage of Ellie playing the guitar for Dina, like they did in the game, right?
Yeah.
It almost looked like Joel is in that setting, like he's there somewhere.
Wow.
Yeah. So it changes the story. They're definitely keeping Joel alive for longer. They do not want Pedro Pascal to leave.
Do you think they're gonna not even have him die?
No. At one point, they're gonna have to have him die. they have to. If they don't have Joel die, that is going to be insane. But Joel needs to die at some point. But I'm just saying, they are changing the story here. Like, they're definitely prolonging it. Now, I don't know how they're going to do this whole thing where he survives the winter, because we all know in the game, Joel and Tommy are the one that saves Abby in the winter from the Horde. Now, where do I think this could go?
Yeah.
Okay. That maybe Joel and Tommy save Abby and they just let her go on her merry way and they don't follow her anywhere. Do I think that could be true? Yes, but I really don't know where they're going to go. If they're going to save Abby, maybe this is what happens, okay?
Okay.
Maybe they save Abby, right? But somehow they make it back to Jackson. And they have Abby stay in Jackson with them, trying to help, thinking they're helping her. But Abby just wants to leave to get back to her group because now she knows where they are.
Yeah.
So then it's kind of like Abby's trying to get out while they're like trying to take care of her. And she's just trying to get back to her crew so she can come in to like fight and kill them.
Because at the end of episode 1, we see Abby see the town with her group.
Yeah, and so she's like, it's good to get to the scene where she gets separated and she's going to have to escape the horde of zombies. And Joel and Tommy are going to help her.
Right.
So this is why I think it's a good thing, but it also could get messy. Like, I like the unpredictability, but there's also a part of me that's like, why wouldn't you just stay to the story? But I get it. Joel dies very early in the game.
Yeah.
You don't want to keep it to that because so many people were upset. So many people were upset in the game. And I don't think they would want that for the show, obviously. So they're going to keep Joel around as much as possible. I do think they're going to go on a good route. They know what they're doing.
People are upset, though. I'll tell you that.
No, yeah. People are upset.
People are upset. It's just episode 1.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never seen so many people come together and like agree in a long time that this is like really bad.
Yeah. So
I like it just because I like The Last of Us. I like Pedro Pascal.
Yeah.
And I'm just optimistic, but it's weird how much people don't like it right now.
No, I know. So we'll see where it goes. Yeah,
just give it some time. Like, let's just see how it plays out. I think there's still it's still going to be good.
Okay, so the next piece of news is, could John Boyega be joining the Marvel Universe? Ooh. Now, Joshua Horowitz did an interview with John Boyega.
Okay.
And John Boyega mentioned that Kevin Feige once approached him and asked him, if you were to play a Marvel character, who would you want to be? And at the time, he said he didn't have an answer. But now he's saying he wants to play Bishop.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
He'd make a great Bishop.
Now, I honestly don't know when this interview took place, but it's weird timing. X-Men are coming.
I know.
So, could John Boyega make an appearance as Bishop? 100%.
Yeah. Wow.
I think that's very possible. The next thing I want to talk about is, this is more of like a public service announcement type of thing. But guys, this chicken jockey thing is getting out of hand.
Chicken jockey.
This is like insane. Like, we'll put footage. Like, there's fireworks going off. There's people bringing real chickens in.
The firework one?
Yeah.
I don't think that was real.
Oh, really?
It's a different movie on the screen.
Oh, okay. Maybe okay. But people are bringing chickens. They're throwing popcorn everywhere, throwing drinks everywhere. Guys, you got to remember, people have to clean this up. People have to clean it up. Like, that's so, like, messed up.
It is messed up. It's like, don't use it as an excuse to, like, just be trash
crazy,
and have a rampage in a theater.
Yeah, and I was trying to look up, like, why are people doing it? It just... These kids just decided to do it, like go crazy when the chicken jockey came on screen, and it just became a trend. And that's how
There's no connection to the game.
Yeah. It's gotten so crazy. Jack Black went to a movie theater to tell people don't throw popcorn. He made an appearance at a movie theater.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought he was kind of like hyping up the crowd.
Well, he also said at the beginning, like, don't throw anything, I think. So just remember that people have to clean that up, guys. Like,
come on, guys.
Give it a rest.
I actually want to go back to the movies now to go watch it again.
Dude, you're going to get demolished.
Dude, there's no way.
They're taking buckets. They're sneaking in buckets, filling it up at the soda machine, taking it in, and throwing it on everyone.
Wait. Okay, we have to go try to find a theater that does that. I want to see it for myself.
Dude, we're sitting in the way back then.
Yeah. Where can we go? Where do we need to go for that?
I don't know.
Comment if you know which theater we need to go to experience this chicken jockey.
Okay, moving on to movie Would You Rathers, okay?
Okay.
Now, this one, I had a hard time figuring out myself.
Okay.
But I just had to stick with my gut, okay? Would you rather erase The Dark Knight from history or erase Avengers Endgame from history?
Oof.
I was sitting with this question for so long.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
If I delete Avengers Endgame or delete The Dark Knight, does that mean the movies after it don't exist now, too?
No, they do.
But they just don't have it. So if Infinity War happens and then it just jumps to okay, Far From Home. It jumps to Far From Home.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think which one would make you feel like least complete.
Yeah.
Now it'd have to go Endgame.
Yeah.
Because without Endgame, you wouldn't know what happens.
Exactly.
And
no, but that's the thought process I had. Endgame would be like such a big missing piece in the Marvel universe. I feel like I could live without there being a Dark Knight.
Oh, dude, that's a hot take.
It's a hot take. But if I'm picking it over the crucialness, is that a word, crucialness, of Endgame, I think I have to keep Endgame around and erase Dark Knight.
From a cinema lover's perspective, I would go delete Endgame. But from like a Marvel lover's perspective, and like without Endgame, and Endgame made such an impact on my life. You know, to be fair, I was so young when The Dark Knight came out that I didn't appreciate it until later.
Yeah.
But when Endgame was coming out, that was like so amazing for me to really experience like a movie like that in theaters.
Yeah.
And the hype for the trailer, the hype for the title, the hype for the release. Like there was something about unifying the world and like
the cultural impact it had.
Yeah, bringing friends together, hanging out, watching this movie, talking about this movie. That's what Endgame means to me. And I think at the end of the day, when it comes to cinema, like we have to ask ourselves too, don't like always pick the answer of like, oh, this is what you're supposed to say, right? As like a cinephile. Like, I get it. The Dark Knight is an amazing movie.
Yeah, for sure.
Arguably one of the best of all time. But when I look inside myself and see what impact Endgame has made on my life, I would 100% keep Endgame and get rid of Dark Knight.
Yeah. Oof. That's a hard question, but yeah, I gotta go Endgame. Okay. Would you rather have no more trailers for movies or no more post-credit scenes?
I would go no more trailers.
Oh, really?
I would go no more trailers. It would be really interesting to see that you eliminate that whole aspect of seeing what's going to happen in the movie.
Yeah.
And let's just all go in blind.
You know, I think that's a good point. Because if we're having this whole thing of like get people back in the movie theaters, right?
Yeah.
Dude, don't put out a trailer. People will go watch.
It would be a really good experiment.
Yeah.
I would really be interested in seeing, like, let's try it for a couple movies. No trailer. What happens?
Yeah. Because I feel like it really brings that movie theater excitement back.
They would just need to find some alternative marketing strategy to get people to talk about a movie without a trailer.
That is true.
But the way they talk about it can't be, like, really explaining it.
Yeah.
You know what? That could backfire really bad, though. Because I'm like, if I don't hear about a movie, I'm probably not going to go watch it. You know what I mean? If I don't see a trailer, if I don't see, like, some kind of marketing for it, how am I supposed to know it exists?
Yeah, that's true. Would you rather have the entire Star Wars franchise only be episodes 1 through 3?
Okay.
Or that there's only one Jurassic Park movie ever? So no sequels.
I mean, Jurassic Park 1's the best.
That's what I'm saying.
So, yeah, I'll just take the one Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
I want all the Star Wars movies.
Yeah, you can't go without all the Star Wars movies.
You can't get rid of Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah, but you can get rid of like the other Jurassic Parks. For sure. Okay, would you rather reboot Twilight or reboot Hunger Games?
Ooh, reboot Twilight or Hunger Games. I would reboot Hunger Games.
I would too. No one should touch Twilight.
Yeah, I think Twilight is such a unique movie that came out at the right time where people like had a different expectation for like what they want to see on screen.
Yeah.
Dude, Twilight coming out today would get wrecked.
No, yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I think the way people like think about films and stuff, it's just different now.
It's different.
I think Twilight's a masterpiece. Just leave it how it is. I think Hunger Games is great. I do really love Hunger Games.
Yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong. I think it's like one of the best trilogies.
Yeah.
Or no, it's actually more than trilogies, right? There's 4 movies.
Yeah.
Well, 5
Oh,
technically. 6 on the way.
Yeah.
Oh, that's tough.
I think the right answer is Hunger Games.
Yeah.
I really do.
I think you could just get... Yeah, you could reboot Hunger Games.
Yeah. When you have to compare the two, could you reboot Hunger Games over Twilight? No. You have
Twilight, it's a journey, man.
Yeah, you got to go with Hunger Games. Okay, the last one. Would you rather see the story change of Mufasa living or Iron Man living?
I definitely don't think Mufasa living would have allowed Simba to be the man he is today.
Yeah.
So with that aspect, I would let Mufasa stay dead, and I would bring back Iron Man.
But would Tom Holland Spider-Man have the hurt in him, that hole in him?
Well, the way it looks, man, Tom Holland's always getting somebody to help him in every movie, some older figure to help him. I don't think you might as well have the smartest man in the world help him.
That's true. That's true. Yeah.
He'd be getting advice from anybody. You're older than me? Thank you. I'm here for you to give me some guidance.
And that's it for Would You Rathers. Those are some juicy ones.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for watching this week's podcast and listening to this podcast. If there's anything you guys want us to talk about or suggest anything or movies that you want Leia to watch or us to watch, let us know. We appreciate you guys so much. Thank you for the support. We've been doing this for a long time now.
Yeah.
And you guys have been sticking with us. To those that have, thank you so much. We really appreciate you guys. We will see you guys tomorrow on TikTok, and we'll see you guys next week on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube.
We'll see you on the TikTok.
God bless you guys. See ya.
Love ya. Yeah.
Did it right this time.